New show, everyone. We are now well past 6 in the p.m., which means it's time for our signature segment, See the Stories. Now, let me ask you guys, what do you think some of the challenges are to have a farm, but in a big city?
Where's the land?
Location. Correct.
Yeah.
Land, location,
Yeah, that's right.
We'll see to do with that, and probably...
Air? Does that?
I would say so. I would say...
I always thought that, pollution, doesn't it contaminate?
Yeah, I would like to think that the air has something to do with how well your crops grow. But mostly it's what you both said, space, and where you're going to get all the sun, where you're going to put all the crops. Well, to anticipate farming or gardening within a big city, you can use a method that is known as vertical gardening.
Yes, and our reporter Reski Anasto and video journalist Andre Saputra had the chance to interview agronomy founder and owner Mathias Levarek. Let's find out more in the next video.
Hi Mathias, thank you for your time. Thank you for having a time interview with C today. So we have looked on your TikTok that your account, which is at Agrotonomy, which is a sharing video on gardening on a vertical farm with the various plants. And could you just tell us the story about it, so the story behind this technology that you are doing on TikTok as well?
I personally come from a total different background in the world of the farming industry. I was involved with organic farming for 25 years before getting involved with this technology. I got involved with the tower garden technology, the aeroponic towers, before it belonged to the current owners. I was working directly with the inventor in the early days of the technology, and I was so impressed with so many aspects of it that I set up the first tower farm, in fact, commercial tower farm outside the US. In Spain, and I worked with the inventor back then, as I said, and then a large company by the name of Juice Plus bought out the technology. They created the brands Tower Garden for the residential market and Tower Farm for the commercial market, and I stuck with the product because I loved it so much, basically. So I've been involved since the inception of the technology, basically.
All right, so you were saying that about the tower, right? And about the agronomy tower. So can you tell us what is this agronomy actually works, and what is the benefit of it?
The aeroponic towers that we have is a technology that allows you, well, first because it's considered vertical farming, we save on about 90% space, but which is more important is that we save on 95% of the water that is required in comparison to conventional farming in the soil. Aside from that, we have some of the highest values ever tested in vegetables and fruits and vegetables when it comes to nutrient density, antioxidant levels, flavonoid levels. We're really, there is no other, even the best that I grew in my farms back in the past, just in an organic way in the soil, never ranked higher in terms of the nutrient density than the products that we are able to grow, than the crops we're able to grow on the towers. And the main advantage of the towers, I mean, because people always speak about we have also a 30% crop yield increase in comparison to conventional farming. So everyone just focuses always on space saving, water savings, and for me, the best advantage of this technology is that it is the only technology in the agricultural industry that is accessible to everyone. What I mean by that is that contrary to conventional farming in the soil or commercial hydroponics or commercial aquaponics, where you really need experts, farmers, horticulturists, agronomists, and other specialists just in order to get the systems just to work. With our technology, with the tower technology, not only it's the only technology that will bring professional results to someone that can work with this technology without having any experience in the world of farming and even gardening, the concept of having a green thumb doesn't exist with this technology. I can set up a system, train people in a half a day, and I know they will have great crop yield for the year to come. We also just had we don't have it anymore, but we used to run a non-profit organization, and we set up tower farms for various projects for orphanages and other, let's say, delicate situations. And I cannot bring, even if I did a fundraising, I cannot just buy a piece of land, a tractor, and tell people, go grow some food. It's just not possible. That's a job you have to learn over the years. I cannot just set up a greenhouse, put a hydroponic commercial system in it and tell people, go grow some food. That's something that's extremely technical, but I can set up a tower farm overnight. I can teach people just like in a half a day, and I know that they have food for the year to come. It's really the only technology, and it's why the name of our company is Agrotonomy, which is a play of words, which is just a portmanteau between agronomy and autonomy, because with the towers, we really have a system that represents what I refer to as agricultural autonomy, because it does not rely on experts in order to be able to operate. We've set up projects in Africa, in places completely remote, totally off the grid, where we are just 100% solar. We've taught people how to use the system that could barely read and write. And people that never even grew a carrot or lettuce in their lives.
I can tell that this is very handy innovation that you guys have made. And how long does this technology have been established by your team?
I represent really the manufacturer. Originally, it was not designed by the manufacturer. I said the inventor used to have a company by the name of Future Growing, and he said I got involved at the beginning with them, but I am not the inventor of the product. I got involved, as I said, setting up the first tower farm abroad, and after they sold the technology to the current company, which is called Juice Plus, the current owner. Huge $1 billion in sales company per year, that. So when they bought us out, I stuck with the project, and I basically their representative, their ambassador, their reseller, their whatever you want to call me, around the world outside the US. Although I have many projects that I've developed in the US and in Canada, I am their right arm when it comes to everything abroad. So if it's for Indonesia, if it's for, like, for example, we have in a very similar climate to yours, we have set up 3 years ago a wonderful tower farm with like close to 400 or 500 towers, I don't recall exactly, in the Philippines. When it comes to Africa, Asia, I'm the guy just representing the technology basically, but I am not the inventor.
And you were mentioned about the climates regarding on the planting. And so, is there any differences due to the climate because for the 2 seasons countries, is there any difference in the planting using this method?
Well, this is one of the other advantage of this technology. It's its versatility. Aside from being able to be used indoor, outdoor, completely indoor just with LED lights, or it can be just put on a rooftop. Like in Paris, we have a rooftop with 300 towers in the heart of the city. We have many leverage. Now, also, we can adapt the technology according to climates. Now, it's obvious that climates are very important. So what I mean by that is that you have different way of approaching farming. There is the most efficient way if it's really for commercial purpose. People are going to set up a climate control greenhouse. That climate control doesn't mean just like air conditioning. There's no air conditioning, but something that's going just to allow you to control the temperature, the humidity, the CO2 levels, and the airflow, the evenness of the airflow. So for air exchange purpose. So when you set up, like for example, I'm building one right now in Abu Dhabi, in the UAE, I have a certain challenge in terms of the type of material we are going to be using and the type of challenge we have in terms of like this extreme heat and such and so forth. At the same time, I'm setting up projects in cold climate countries where we also have to have just a heating system and a light system during the winter to supplement the lights. And so the challenge when it's in a climate control greenhouse, it's not about our technology, it's about the greenhouse itself that is going to meet certain criteria to create an environment within the greenhouse where we will be always between 21 and 26 degrees Celsius average, that in that range, with, in general, depending on the crops, of course, we will just try to stay between 65% to 75% humidity in that range of temperatures. So the climate control greenhouse is what defines the climate environment, because whether I am in Bali or in Jakarta, or whether in the Philippines, or whether I am in Paris or in Alaska, or as long as the greenhouse fulfills just its function, the climate inside the greenhouse, regardless of where you're gonna be, whether you supplement the light, whether you supplement the heat or the cold, you're gonna be between 21 and 26 degrees Celsius. So our technology will be operating the same regardless of where it's located.
Okay, so you've mentioned about the challenges for the climates, right? In different climates, different seasons. How about like generally? So what is the difficulties or the challenges when you plant using the vertical garden?
There is not anything like a difficulty. The technology again is so extremely simplified, it's so just like intuitive that anyone, even a child 10 years old, can be taught how to use the system. But the challenge that we get is to create the right environment. Say that you're gonna say, I'm gonna put a restaurant, for example, or a hotel in Indonesia, decides I'm gonna just put 50 towers in my backyard to supply my restaurant. Just as an example. Well, are you gonna leave them outdoors? Then you're gonna have to deal with pests, because although we are just off the ground, and just that already eliminates, I would say, 50% of all pests, or the flying ones can come to your crops, above all if they're so nutritious. So are you gonna just protect them? Are you gonna just build a little structure just that's gonna allow just like pests to stay outside? That's where the challenge is, more like in the preparation of the grounds. If someone says, I'm gonna just do a tower farm, but I wanna build a climate control greenhouse, the challenge is more in the building of the greenhouse. Then just our system will adapt, super simple to use, will teach people how to use it. It's more just in the preparation of where the system is gonna be hosted. That's where the challenge resides.
All right, so that's very handy. I must say that that's very handy technology, and the difficulties seems to be easy to be solved. And how about the tips do you have any tips for the gardening in such small spaces, such as in our garden is, let's say in Indonesia, in Southeast Asia, like there is a small garden. So do you have any tips for that?
Tips, yes, have fun. It's just what I can say, because when you start with these towers, if you have a family, children want to get involved because it looks futuristic, because it's different, and children just start planting. And all the people, they just don't need to bend over. They don't need to, they don't work with chemicals. So it's just like connecting just all the elderlies, just with planting stuff, and without all the inconvenience that can come with a regular garden. And then just for someone, like for anyone, it becomes such an improvement in your health, because of the quality of what you grow, just like right on the spot. You harvest it, you have 100% of all the nutrients, has not gone through a distribution channel, lost these nutrients before it came to you. It becomes more than an improvement to your health. It becomes a lifestyle. You look at your tower, you say, oh, wow, I'm going to have that ready just like for harvest tomorrow. So you're already planning to cook according to what's going to be ready to harvest, and not, it's more than a tip. It's anyone that buys towers from us, we provide them with a comprehensive ebook, which I wrote, called Getting the Most Out of Your Aeroponic Tower. It's a 145 ebook that is, it's just so everything and anything for every crop, every tip and trick that you can imagine is in that book. And it's just like about having fun, seeing your health improving, and surprising yourself that it becomes part of your identity. Like, I'm the tower guy. People come to me, I give them vegetables, you know, just like it's really just a nice spot to be in, just when you have those towers growing in your backyard.
I see. Yeah, that's the tip. Like, I'm gonna say that I'm intrigued actually to do farming right now, because you say that this is so much fun to be doing. And I want to ask you one last question about regarding your 1.6 million followers and 12.5 thousand likes on TikTok. So why do you think people like your content for this?
If I was to brag, I would say that we have almost 800,000 as well followers on Instagram, and we have almost 500,000 on Facebook, etc. We have almost 3 million followers now between our different platforms, and which makes us, in the world of hydroponics, in the world of vertical farming, urban farming, CEA, referring to controlled environment agriculture, our social media platforms have more followers than anyone in the world in our industries. And one of the reasons I think is because, well, first, because we do a great job. Yeah, because we really do a good job, but that's not good enough. I think one of the reasons is because people can relate to the technology as, I could be doing that. Oh, that is something I'd like to do. I could see myself doing that. Where if you see in the industry of vertical farming projects like Plenty, Aero Gardens, stacked trays with computers and stuff that is so almost science fiction like, that it must cost millions or so many millions, and that you would need IT engineers to run the system and agronomists, and looks like they are robots picking the vegetables, this, that. People like to see that stuff on YouTube and on Instagram, but they cannot relate as, that's something I could do. They're like, no, it's not for me. It's out of my reach, you know, because it's for experts. It's for people that have access to millions. And where, with what we do, we show so many examples of people having little farms, from backyard projects all the way up to, you know, thousands of towers on government projects. Or we show so many examples of real people, not multimillionaires, not that are just like running their farm. And again, I think it inspires the community in terms of, that's something I could do, you know, type of perspective. And we represent, we represent, maybe, we're not the solution, but we are part of the solution. And more and more people are understanding that the food supply chain as we know it needs to be reinvented. And if I was to use a quote that I really like from another gardener by the name of Ron Finlay, he said that growing your own food is like printing your own money. I couldn't agree more. And I think that when people see this technology, they say, I could print my own money. And they can, because our technology is accessible to them. Anyone from any background can start a farm. And that's what I think contributes to our online success. aside from the fact that I have a brilliant team of behind our social media, and aside from the fact that we were the first really in the industry, we have a website featured in 7 languages. Our ranking eligibility on all major search engines is the best on over 150 keywords. So our online presence is very significant. And I have my own in-house team for social media promotions. And at this stage, we're viral because I guess people really love our work in terms of how we present it, but again, because they can relate to something that they could be doing themselves.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Mathias. That was very comprehensive, very good in explanation regarding on the agroautonomy. And even I want to do it right now because it seems very, how you call it, interesting, very it's easy as well. As you already mentioned, it's pretty easy. Then, like, I'm really intrigued to do it. And thank you very much for the interview. And I hope you're having.
We really hope just to set up a farm either this year or next year in Indonesia. And for every farm we set up, I come on location, help for the setup and the training. So at this point, I come and give a hug to everyone into your TV station. And yeah.
Yeah, we cannot wait for that. We're very looking forward for that. I'm very looking forward for that. Right. Thank you very much, Mathias. Have a good day.
Day.
Yes, you too. Good morning and have a good day. Thank you.